over until I come unto Judah, and a letter unto Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest, and that he may give me timber to make beams for the gates of the palace, which pertaineth to the house, and for the wall of the city, and for the house that I shall enter into. And the king granted me according to the good of my God upon me. Then I came unto the governors beyond the river, and gave them the king's letters. Now the king had sent captives of the army and horsemen with me, when Sanballat the Hornite and Tobiah the servant and the Ammonite heard of it, and grieved them exceedingly, that there was come a man to seek the welfare of the children of Israel. So I came to Jerusalem, and there was there 3 days, and I arose in the night, and some few men with me, neither told I any man what my God had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem. Neither was there any beast with me, save the beast that I rode upon. And I went out by night by the gate of the valley, even before the dragon well, and to the dung port, and viewed the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken down, and the gates thereof were consumed with fire. Then I went to the gate of the fountain, and to the king's pool, but there was no place for the beast that was under me to pass. Then I went up in the night by the brook, and viewed the wall, and turned back, and entered by the gate of the valley, and so returned. And the rulers knew not whither I went, or what I did. Neither had I as yet told it to the Jews, nor to the priests, nor to the nobles, nor to the rulers, nor to the rest that did the work. Then I said unto them, Ye see the distress that we are in, how Jerusalem lieth waste, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. Come, and let us build up the wall of Jerusalem, that we be no more reproached. And I told them of the hand of my God, which was good upon me, as also the king's words that he had spoken unto me. And they said, Let us rise and build. So they strengthened their hands for this good work. But when Sanballat and the Hornite, and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite, and Geshem the Arabian heard it, they laughed us to scorn and despised us, and said, What is this thing that will ye rebel against the king? And then said I unto them, The God of heaven will prosper us. Therefore we his servants will arise and build. But we have no portion, nor right, nor memorial in Jerusalem. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, I pray that you calm me down. I pray that you give me the words to say. I pray that you show me, and show me how to show these people. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's build something big. Let's build something big. Let's build a wall. Not the wall that we are in the U.S. technically built. This was ordained by God to protect the city of Jerusalem from invaders. God used Nehemiah, a cupbearer, to manage a huge construction project. However, he had many difficulties along the way. This reminds me of the slogan that Lowe's, not as Pastor calls Home Depot, has, let's build something together. I got close to that, but not too far. I'm happy to see that Pastor is serious about his mini farm with chickens and stuff. Hopefully cows and pigs will be next. Joking. We just went through and are still going through a pandemic, or a plandemic as I like to call it. But God has a reason for this. I ask you questions. Will we see the task at hand? Will we let God work and just do as we're told? Here, I want us to see 3 blueprints to consider when building something big. First of all, I want to see a heartfelt blueprint. A heartfelt blueprint. And then, I got them all there. Heartfelt attitude. Romans 12:1 says, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. That's saying we need to have a reasonable service to God. God wants us to do it from our heart. And then we need to have a heartfelt analyzation. Philippians 4:8. Not you. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are good report, if there be virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. What's God saying? If you got nothing nice to say, if you got nothing nice to think about, just don't think or say anything at all. And then a heartfelt action. 1 Corinthians 10:31, whether therefore you eat or drink or whatsoever you do all to the glory of God. Part of a Christian's character contains is being a heartfelt of a person. Sincere, genuine, real. In Ephesians 6:5-6 it says, servants, be obedient to them that are your masters, according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, and singleness of your heart, as unto Christ, not with eye service as men pleasers. Don't be fake, but as servants of Christ, doing the will of God from the heart. May we be the person who truly wants to honor and serve God, and I mean from a heartfelt viewpoint. A mental blueprint, that's the next one. A mental capacity. Proverbs 1:5-6. Wise man will hear and increase in learning. And a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels, to understand a proverb, and to the interpretation of the word of the wise, and to their dark sayings. A mental cooperation. Matthew 7:24-27. Therefore, whosoever heareth the sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which buildeth his house upon a rock, and the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon the house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall thereof. If the foundation ain't right, the framework will not be right. There you go. A mental charge. That's it. That's the final one for this point, or for this blueprint. Isaiah 26:3. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed upon thee. Or stayed on thee, because he trusted in thee. As Christians, our minds need to be right. Now more than ever, we must, as Ephesians 6:11 says, put on the whole armor of God, that we may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. It is amazing how we forget that all God wants us is to get our acts together and move forward. Ask God for peace, and He will give you peace. Let's grow our minds. Come on. There we go. Physical blueprint. That's the next one. Not just a heartfelt or a mental blueprint, a physical blueprint. A physical spirituality. James 2:16-18 says, and one of you say to them, depart in peace, be ye warmed and filled, and notwithstanding, ye give them not those things which are needful to the body. What doth it profit? Even so faith, if it hath not works, is dead being alone. Yea, man say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Let me show thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. It's just saying, hey, works is evidence. It's an outward evidence that we are saved, and it's not how we get saved, though. Amen to that. A physical splurging, not just a physical spirituality, a physical splurging. Colossians 4:5. Walk in wisdom toward them that are without redeeming the time. So what are we trying to do? What we're trying to do is always, daily, get wisdom. Walk in wisdom. And where can we find it? Through the Word of God. But we can all, the specific book in that is Proverbs. There you go. There's your wisdom. And that's what we need, is to always get wisdom. Not only a physical spirituality, a physical splurging, but a physical sojourn. John 9:4 says, I must work the works of him that sent me, while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. One day, folks, we're running out of time. We're running out of time. We don't have much time on this earth. We are none of this world. We are to live in the world, but not be of the world. And what we're supposed to do is, it's like that song, the world is not my home, I'm just passing through. So there will be a time when Christ will come get us, and we'll have our rest, we'll have our sojourn. Our lives need to say the same thing as Psalm 66:5. Come and see the works of God. He is terrible in his doing toward the children of men. Truthfully, our work is our journey through the Christian life. This doesn't attain salvation, but it becomes apparent. Through our works, people automatically get an idea of where we are. In the workplace, in the school, out and about on the streets. What are we communicating to people? We must strive to be like Christ. A book about that would be Changed into His Image, even though that Jim Berg is very cut and dry sometimes. We must strive to be like Christ and not men. Work until our eternal rest in heaven comes. And I'm not speaking like a JW either. Nehemiah, building the wall alone, was not going to cut it. He needed fellow laborers to help in this great effort. Basically, we need to have the same mindset and build something big. Not just by ourselves, but together. Will we build our lives on the Lord?
Good job, Adam. Well, it's a needed point today. We talk about building our lives. I really like the point that Adam had, is that our lives need to look like what David said in the Psalms. Come and see the works of God. And how you live is how people will know. There are good people who are not saved. So just being a good person doesn't actually show people Christ. There's people I work with who will give you the shirt off their back. They don't know Christ. They're just good people. You know what I mean? Oh, there's none that are good. No, I understand, but I hope you know what I mean. How are people going to know that we're different than just nice people? It's when the rubber meets the road, Christians do things that others won't. What are some of those things? This is good. That's a good lesson. A lot of things, rapid fire, but I hope that you got a couple of them to consider. All right. Hey, thanks for sticking around, Saints. Be an encouragement to Adam as he continues to craft his ability to present the Bible. And I thank you for being an encouragement to him. There was a thing we did in college called Preacher's Roundup. And every couple of weeks, 3 preacher boys would get about 15 minutes each to preach a message. And not very many people showed up. But when people did show up, it was always a blessing to those who were developing preaching skills. Does that make sense? You're not just practicing rhetoric. You're trying to say something from the Bible, which is infinitely more different than just learning how to public speak.
Yeah, we did popcorn preaching.
Yeah, popcorn preaching. So, all right, Saints, I love you. I look forward to seeing you Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Be here or be square. I don't know what that means, these church. I think square was just a term of beingness back then.
What about fair and square?
Fair and square. I left it up to you. Do you have a particular thing in mind? I'll write the check. Come on, I don't know how much you need. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I need a check written for me. Let's switch some checks around. I actually have an empty blue checkbook with me.
Bye, preacher and kids.
We'll see you. Love you both. We're just dealing drugs up here, so we'll be done with that here. Did I pay Sean 1,000? Yeah, yes you can. Yes you can, you can have one. What you were gonna ask me for. Yes. No such thing. In about 17 minutes. So a little bit after you. Great job.
Daddy, where's actually is?
I guess they always say you're better off going being done before the time than being over the time.
Absolutely.
Where is the camera?
If I put your last name on here too.
I think that would
What
help.
is the candy empty? I can't find it. Not right there. Daddy, I can't find the candy. I can't find candy.
It is
Oh, good.
on the very back black table.
Thank you.
If it's not enough, let me know. That's right.
Live stream
Is
still
that okay?
going.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, it's the number that was in my mind, because I figured it was the number that was in your mind. All right, Shane.
Look, Dad.
Well, read that. Mission check to sleep. Did you get my text?
Honey, just hold on.
Daddy, the live stream is still going.
What,
The live stream's still going.
No, it's not. It just turned on.
Oh.